Hey guys, Backyard Flyer 99 here. Just wanted to do a quick review of the Mould Super S, the model number 33041. I do not have the camera version of it. Just kind of figured that wasn't really worthwhile, so I just stuck with just the base version. But just wanted to go over a little bit down here, go down over some things on the workbench first, and then we'll take it out for a flight. But first, just a couple negatives, really only two, I would say. First of all, you can see here, I just put a piece of Velcro around this to help hold the battery on. This is not the stock battery, it's a larger size one. This is a 500 milliamp, I think the stock was 350. But with the stock battery, when you would put it in here, it was hard to get in. It would oftentimes catch on the back of this, and even worse, it was really hard to get out. A lot of times you have to put like a screwdriver in here and kind of try to force it out, or one of them, when I pulled it out the first time, I kind of frayed these wires a little bit, so couldn't even use the battery anymore. But I found if I just put a piece of Velcro around it, pull it real tight, that's easy enough to slide in and out. Plus it allows me to use either the stock battery or this battery, so that's a lot easier. The other only negative, slight negative I would say, is it does occasionally have a dropout. It's a real quick dropout. It doesn't really matter the range. I mean, it could be 15-20 feet away from you. It's not very often, just occasionally, where it'll just seem to lose signal for like a half a second. The engines will cut, it'll start to fall, and then it'll pretty immediately rebind, and it'll start flying again. But so if you're flying, maybe 10 feet off the ground or whatever, it's fine. It just falls a little and pick it back up. But if you are flying really low to the ground and it happens to do that right then, I have once or twice crashed into the grass because it didn't. With a half second, I was close enough to the ground, and that's all it took for it to hit the ground. But other than that, it's really a fun little quad. It does have 3 speeds, and on the lowest speed, it's a very docile flyer, very easy to fly, very stable. It'll be good for a beginner. The second speed is pretty decent, and then by the time you get up to the third speed, it's a pretty sporty little flyer. It gets a decent yaw rate. The yaw does increase. It's not that it's like a crazy fast spinner like I've seen some. But it's fast enough that it just does some nice turns, good banking turns. You can do some nice figure eights and stuff. And the quad is really a great flyer for just in the yard or on the street. It's not particularly fast, but it is very nimble. Just a lot of fun to fly. Great little agile. Semi-sport, not fast like I said, not necessarily slow, but a really fun little quad, especially for the price. It's it does have a few drawbacks, but hard to beat at that price. But let's go ahead and we'll take it outside, and I'll show you how it flies. Alright, here we are outside now. We'll go ahead and give it a little flight here. This does have a bit of a weird binding. It's up, down, and then sometimes you have to push to the bottom right, and then it'll bind. So, it should be ready to go. So this is just on rate 1. It is a little breezy out today, probably 10 mile per hour breeze, a little bit of stronger gusts occasionally. The backside of a park, I'm trying to use it as a bit of a shield from the wind, but sometimes I can still feel it coming. But in any case, this is rate 1. As you can see, that's the yaw. Not too bad, actually pretty decent for one, but that's full pitch forward, so oops. That's full speed on rate 1, so the breeze is pushing it there, but it's kind of a hard time fighting it back now. But very smooth, kind of just hover there pretty easy. And then we'll go ahead and go up to the third rate. That's 2. So this is the third rate. You can see the yaw gets. That's the third rate yaw. Move it just away just a little bit. So, and that's full pitch forward and back, to the right, to the left. Oops, got a little bit far away. Let's bring it back. So it's got pretty good pitch. We'll just fly it around for a minute here, but see, it's a pretty fun little flyer. Like I said, pretty agile. Even with the, a pretty decent breeze, you'll probably be able to hear it. It fights through it decently well. If you do have a calm day, it's even better. But you can really, it's pretty accurate where you're trying to go with it. It does nice turns, and I mean, kind of yaw and float with it for a little bit, because it can definitely gain enough speed to do that. It's a little bit fun. And pitch, it gets some decent speed out of it. If you do get the wind at its back, it'll move a little bit, fight it a little bit when it comes back towards you. But overall, it's really a fun little quad. In the neighborhood, on your street or something, you don't need a lot of space to fly this one around. You could just fly it even if you had a small yard, or just go out on the street, and it's small enough that if you were to crash it, it's not gonna damage anything. Forget the weight of it, but it's very, very light. Obviously, well below what the FAA would need for registration. So we'll just give it some flies. It does do flips. Whoops. Let's bring it back. Sorry about that. They're pretty tight flips. I don't like to flip too much. I don't want to burn out all the motors, but it does do some tight flips. But I do love just its agility. It can really snap through turns, or you can kind of gently bank it if you want like that, and you can bring it back and just float it along a little, and you can hear the wind. The wind is kind of picking up now, but it's still flying pretty good. So, well, just wanted to give you a short little review here. Again, it's the Mould King Super S, and if you're looking for a fun little quad in the neighborhood, you might want to give this one some consideration.